My wedding was approaching, and my fiancé came to call off the engagement. He's forcing me to be his concubine, and wants to marry my stepsister as his wife. Even my father, heartbroken, accused me of having flawed morals. Give your dowry to your sister. After she establishes herself in her husband's family, she can look out for you in the future when you're a concubine. Fine, fine, fine. A bunch of people who can only live comfortably because of my dowry are ganging up to bully me. They're cash cow. Is that it? Fine. You've got some nerve. Then you can all go starve. When my fiancé and stepsister arrived hand in hand, I was going over my accounts. The dowry list was a thick stack, and it took me a full 2 days to finish taking inventory. Seeing them arrive, I happily pointed to the dowry list on the table. Pei Lang, come take a look. Before I could finish, he cut me off harshly. Tang Mingyue, I'm here to call off the engagement. I was stunned for a moment, trying to find any hint of a joke on Pei Yuan's face, but all I saw was his disgusted face and his hand intertwined with my stepsister's. You disrespect the matriarch, bully your sister, and abuse the servants. A person of such improper conduct like you isn't even fit to be my concubine. You disgrace the family. You're extravagant and debauched, disrupting the social norms of the capital. You are utterly despised by all. If you give your dowry to Yuner, I can reluctantly let you be my concubine. Look, how shameless. They want to embezzle my dowry, so they've pinned so many baseless accusations on me. I said in a cold voice. No, if it weren't for Pei Yuan being the capture target, I wouldn't want a piece of trash like him even if he threw himself at me. He frowned deeply, verbally pressuring me. If you're unwilling, after today, you won't even have the title of a concubine. Pei Yuan's mouth opened and closed, directly pronouncing my death sentence. Beep. Capture failed. Punishing host with a terminal illness. Remaining lifespan, 2 months. The system's electronic voice sounded in my ear. Years of hard work ruined in an instant. My life was about to end. And here were 2 disgusting creatures clamoring right in front of me. Overcome with rage, I was so angry I spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Before I passed out, I only heard my stepsister Tang Yanyan's triumphant cry. Aya, quick, call a doctor. Pei Lang, surely my sister isn't about to die, is she? The doctor said I was suffering from emotional distress and didn't have long to live. Hearing this, the few people standing by the bed could barely hide the smiles on their faces. Well, of course, if I die, won't my mother's dowry be all theirs for the taking? I let out a cold laugh. The money is mine. I'm the sugar daddy. Instead of trying to suck up to me, every single one of you actually wants to scheme for my money and my life. Dream on, Dad, Mom. Look, don't you think big sister has gone crazy? She knows she's about to die, yet she's still laughing. Tang Yanyan's delicate voice sounded, finding her noisy. I raised my head and gave her a sinister smile. That's right. I feel so sad just thinking about not being able to see my little sister in the future, so I've decided that after I die, I'll go beg the King of Hell to reunite me with my dear sister as soon as possible. That would truly fulfill our deep sisterly bond. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunyun shot me a vicious glare, then pretended to be scared and hid behind our father. Seeing this, father protected Tang Yunyun and then angrily scolded me. Yuer, how could you treat your sister like this? Look at how you've scared Yuner. It's because of this behavior of yours that Pei Yuan came to break off the engagement. Not only do you show no remorse, you continue to bully your sister. Even I, your father, am ashamed to let a daughter with such a flawed character marry someone. Father's face was full of shame as he sighed again and again. Even I couldn't help but praise him for being so righteously principled upon seeing it. You and Yuner are both my daughters. I would be happy for either of you to marry Pei Yuan. You're Yuner's older sister. Since Pei Yuan is willing to marry Yuner, you should just give your dowry to Yuner. That way, she'll have a good standing in the Pei family. In a little while, we'll have you carried into the Pei family as a concubine, and your younger sister can look after you. After saying this, he looked at me with a sorrowful expression on his face, as if he were a father who toils and worries for his daughters. I looked at him and grinned. Daddy, it's not even dark yet. How are you daydreaming already? I was grounded. My father, having lost face for my retort, stormed off, and that very afternoon, he had my courtyard locked. Other than 3 meals a day, nothing else was allowed to be sent in. Even the medicine prescribed by the doctor wasn't allowed in. Even the maids by my side were all removed. They couldn't wait for me to die quickly, so they could openly swallow up my dowry. Too bad for them. No matter how well they schemed, they wouldn't get their wish. Taking the chance when the kitchen maid brought me food, I asked her to spread the news that I was on the verge of death, and also stuffed a few gold bracelets into her hands. Wealth moves the hearts of men. In less than a day, Everyone in the capital city knew that the lavish Tang Mingyue was about to die from illness. Even Princess Yangon sent an invitation, saying she wanted to ask the imperial physician to come and diagnose me. Father didn't dare to disobey the princess, so he had no choice but to agree. Father was originally just a lowly assistant county magistrate, relying on mother's generous dowry to pull some strings. He climbed to the position of a sub-5th rank official in just 3 short years. I was transmigrated into this world that year, right from the womb. When I was 5, a system appeared and told me that as long as I could win over Pei Yuan, the only son of Marquis Pingchong, I could return to my original world. If I refused, I would be obliterated. In my previous life, I was all alone. In this life, I have a mother who adores me. I didn't want to leave, but I couldn't die either. My maternal grandmother passed away many years ago. My maternal grandfather died of illness last year, and my eldest maternal uncle went missing up north. Mother only has me left, even though I disliked Pei Yuan so much and thought he was a hypocrite. For mother's sake, I compromised, and so in the capital city, wherever the young master of the Pei family appeared, the figure of Tang Mingyue could always be seen. Over time, even mother thought I was madly in love with Pei Yuan. When I was 12, mother asked father to go to the Pei family to propose marriage. My daughter Mingyu's dowry has long been prepared, if our 2 families are fortunate enough to be joined by marriage. My mother patted the list of gifts in a box beside her, but before she could finish, the Marchioness of Pingchong enthusiastically agreed. The first time I saw Mingyue, I felt that she and I were fated to be. In the capital city, who doesn't know that my son Pei Yuan and Mingyue are a match made in heaven? The 15th is an auspicious day, perfect for settling the engagement, but unfortunately, in less than a year, mother passed away from illness. On her deathbed, she held my hand and told me to live well, to live a good life with Pei Lang. Idiarful, I agreed, but mother, I'm going to have to break my promise. While I was writing a letter by the window, Tang Yunyun, that idiot, came to provoke me. I quietly placed the Xian paper ID ruined from practice on top. When she saw it, her face filled with contempt. Tang Mingyue, you're about to die and you're still in the mood to practice calligraphy, using top-grade Hui ink. No less, she said to the maid beside her. Take it away, she's about to die and still wasting money here. The maid responded and came over. I was afraid they would see the letter and affect my plan, so I reached out, grabbed the inkstone, and threw it at her. Everything the Tang family eats, wears, and uses, which of it isn't from my mother's dowry? I'm not even dead yet and you're already coveting it, just like your mother, a cheap who only knows how to covet other people's things. The current Madame Tang is Tang Yunyun's biological mother, and also my father's cousin. Back then, when she said her family had suffered a disaster and came to the capital city with Tang Yunyun to seek refuge, she was penniless. It was my mother who took pity on her and took her in. Who knew she had already been secretly sleeping with father? The moment the 1-year mourning period for my mother's death was over, she took over and became Madame Tang. Tang Yunyun is most afraid of people saying her status is improper, and on top of that, I had just splashed ink all over her, so she was so mad she was about to come scratch me. I rebuked her in a cold voice. You just try and lay a finger on me. The Imperial physician Princess Yangon summoned for me will be here any moment. If there are any injuries on my body when the physician asks, I will have to answer truthfully. Princess Yangon is the beloved daughter of Prince Ji, and we have always been on good terms. She wouldn't dare offend her. Upon hearing this, Tang Yunyun viciously pulled back her claws. She turned and smashed 7 or 8 of the vases in my room. Before she left, she said with a sinister look on her face, "Just you wait. Sooner or later, everything of yours will be mine." I smiled. Then we'll just have to wait and see. When the Imperial physician was conducting his examination, there were several spying maids standing beside us. All of you, get out. You're giving me a headache. The maids looked at each other, but didn't move. It wasn't until the Imperial physician said that having too many people around was affecting his pulse-taking that they were finally driven out. I pulled an envelope out from under my pillow. I'll have to trouble you to pass this letter to Princess Yangon. The Imperial physician took it and sighed. The letter, I will deliver. It's just that. Regarding Miss Tang's health, I am truly powerless. I shook my head. It's nothing. The punishment from the system naturally has no cure. Sometimes I'm actually glad that I was made terminally ill, giving me time to plot and prevent the villain's evil scheme from succeeding. After the Imperial physician left, my small courtyard was locked up again. When the kitchen maid delivered my meal, she told me the reason. Father was afraid something unexpected might happen, so he told outsiders that my condition had worsened, and that too many visitors would disturb my recovery. so he had to lock me up to recuperate in peace. Even the Imperial physician sent later by Princess Yangon was turned away, but fortunately, I had already sent the letter out. I waited for a few days, until I thought something unexpected had happened and that Princess Yangon wouldn't come. But she came with someone I never expected. Mingyue, I've come to see you. I propped myself up, and only when I saw Princess Yangon walk closer did I realize it wasn't a dream, and my heart relaxed. Princess, perhaps my haggard appearance startled her, as Princess Yangon's eyes were filled with shock. We haven't seen each other in only half a month. How did you end up like this? I heard the Pei family broke off your engagement, and they're going to marry your stepsister. They've gone too far. Who doesn't know that you've loved Pei Yuan since you were a child? Isn't this a death sentence for you? And that stepsister of yours? What kind of trash with an unknown background dares to snatch a man from you? Mingyue, you just wait. When I get back I'll have my royal father get revenge for you. I wanted to say that I actually don't like Pei Yuan that much, and that she shouldn't be so angry. Just as I was about to explain, I saw a figure walking in from the doorway against the light. When I saw them clearly, a memory dead for many years suddenly attacked me. Back then when the system made me do the conquest, it was a choice between two. One was the son of a down-and-out marquis, the other was the third prince of the current emperor. I chose the former without hesitation. Once you enter the Imperial court, it's as deep as the sea. I just wanted to live a quiet and peaceful life, so after I chose to pursue Pei Yuan, I gradually forgot about this matter. But I gradually calmed down. Many years have passed. The prince has become the crown prince. The conquest difficulty has only increased, not decreased, and I only have 2 months left to live. I'd better just forget it. Seeing me staring blankly at the newcomer, Yangon giggled. Oh right, Mingyue, brother crown prince said he wanted to come see you, so he came along with me, but I've never had any dealings with the crown prince. Why would he come to see me? Your subject, greets the crown prince. I struggled to get up to pay my respects, but was pushed back down by Princess Yangon. Mingyue, my brother crown prince said you once helped him when you were young. Hearing that you were seriously ill and bedridden, he wanted to visit you, but he couldn't come alone. What a coincidence. Knowing I was coming to see you, he came along. I've helped the crown prince before. The memory is too distant. I can't recall. My head hurt more and more, and beads of sweat the size of beans rolled down. The two people before me were in a panic. I saw the crown prince wanted to step forward to check, but Yangon beat him to it. Mingyue, how are you? Do you want me to call an imperial physician to take a look at you? I shook my head, grabbed Princess Yangon's hand, and sat up. This illness of mine is incurable, but princess, I must trouble you to take me out of the Tang family. Princess Yangon nodded hurriedly. Okay, I came here to take you away in the first place. She had people pack my luggage for me, and the documents and contracts alone filled a whole box. Just before we left, the stepmother hurriedly chased after us. Princess, you mustn't. Mingyue is gravely ill. She absolutely cannot be moved around carelessly. When her eyes landed on the box, she was about to pounce on it. Those are the Tang family's belongings. You can't take them away. You unpresentable thing. Get the hell away from this princess. Princess Yangon kicked her to the ground and cursed through gritted teeth. Kicking you would dirty my own shoes. She got up and still wanted to come forward, but was stopped by the crown prince's guards with their swords at her neck. Tang Yunyun arrived shortly after. Seeing her mom being threatened and then spotting my luggage, she screamed and rushed forward to attack without getting a clear look. Who are you people? You must have the heart of a bear and the gall of a leopard to dare come and run wild at our Tang residence. Tang Mingyue, that's our Tang family's property. I don't care if you die outside, but you can't take the stuff with you. In the past, they had tried to find the deed on numerous occasions while I wasn't home, but they always ended in failure. This time, I only brought one chest, but the mother and daughter pair knew what was inside with just one glance. Tang Yunyun was still screaming. That's all mine. Mine. You can't take it. The crown prince seemed to be annoyed by her noise, waving his hand to have the guards gag her. Princess Yangon laughed in anger. You even dare to talk back to my big brother the crown prince. You two idiots must be tired of living. Crown prince. Hearing this, the Tang Yunyun mother-daughter pair rolled their eyes back and fainted from shock, when father rushed back to the residence in a panic. I was just being helped onto the horse carriage, unaware of your highness the crown prince's arrival. This humble servant has failed to welcome you from afar. The crown prince was expressionless. He mounted his horse, leaving only his back for my father to see. My father was in a complete panic, staggering to his feet to chase after him. Crown prince. Princess Yangon angrily blocked his way. Lord Tang has really raised a good daughter. To dare to so brazenly snatch her legitimate older sister's fiancé, and not be afraid of the people of Xinjing laughing at her. Now that your legitimate daughter is seriously ill, you actually lock her up in the courtyard with no one to look after her. Even a vicious tiger won't eat its own cubs. My mother, the Imperial consort, heard that Mingyue is seriously ill and is extremely worried, so she wants me to bring her to the Prince of Qi's mansion to be looked after for a few days. Lord Tang wouldn't have any objections, would he? Father buried his head in his chest. This subject wouldn't dare. Princess Yangon snorted coldly. It's good that you don't dare. Also, Lord Tang, you'd better manage that second wife and stepdaughter of yours. Those two witless things are barking wildly like mad dogs on the roadside, even daring to talk back to brother Crown Prince. If there is a next time, we'll just have to see if Lord Tang can keep the head under his official's hat. Sitting in the carriage, I saw father's face turn ashen and couldn't help but let out a soft laugh. Can't take it already. Oh, don't. I haven't even made my move yet. With the care from the Prince of Qi's mansion, my spirits improved a little, but I still vomit blood every day. Princess Yangon was heartbroken when she saw this. More than once, she wanted to go out and teach the Pei family and the Tang family a lesson on my behalf, but I stopped her every time. Back when the Pei family had fallen on hard times, it was all thanks to my mother lending a helping hand that they were able to restore their former glory. Even now, 80% of their mansion's income relies on the shops my mother lent them back then. It was called a loan, but since our two families were to be joined by marriage, these shops would sooner or later be brought to the Pei family as part of my dowry. So, the Pei family never thought about returning them. I, too, never thought of asking for them back. But now, Pei Yuan wants to call off the engagement. The things that originally belonged to my mother and me. Naturally, they'll have to spit them out the same way they swallowed them. I borrowed a few people from Princess Yangon and sent letters to the managers of those shops. The shop managers in the capital city had all received kindness from my mother. Upon seeing my letter, they naturally followed my instructions without a second thought. Within a few days, someone from the Pei family came to my door looking for me. I, of course, closed the door and refused to see them. When the Crown Prince visited again, I gave him the prepared dowry list. What is the meaning of this, brother Crown Prince? I want to donate my dowry to the Imperial court, to be used as supplies for the soldiers in the borderlands. Do you have any idea how much your dowry is worth? The Crown Prince looked astonished, his hand trembled, and 2 volumes of the dowry list fell to the ground. I pursed my lips. Of course I know. My maternal grandfather was one of the wealthiest merchants in the Yen Kingdom. Back when my mother married my father, the 10-long train of red dowry was no exaggeration. Other people's dowries were filled with items. My mother's dowry was filled with land deeds, because the small courtyard at my father's house simply had no room for jade artifacts, paintings, or jewelry. So my maternal grandfather picked out half of the deeds to his shops all over Yen to give to my mother as her dowry. Later, father used mother's dowry to further his official career, eventually reaching a sub-5th rank position. After mother passed away, her dowry was supposed to be my inheritance. But now, I don't have much time left either. The Tang and Pei families are ganging up to force me to be a concubine. Isn't it all for my dowry? I vomit blood just seeing their disgusting faces. Rather than letting them have it, I'd rather donate it to the soldiers at the borderlands, so they can have an extra cotton-padded coat in winter and a mouthful of hot porridge before battle. Seeing the Crown Prince look so surprised, he was a little dazed. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. What's wrong? Does Crown Prince brother not want it? These past few days, I've been calling him Crown Prince brother, following Princess Yangan's lead. He's almost of Kamingafage, but every time I call him Crown Prince brother, the tips of his ears still turn red. The Crown Prince shook his head. That's not it, I said. Then that settles it. Crown Prince brother can just take it without worry. My father, just like the Pei family, is forcing me to be a concubine. I am already all alone, am a woman, and although I'm not yet married, I have so much wealth. I've been targeted for a long time. Now that I'm terminally ill, they already see my wealth as something in their grasp, thinking of taking it for themselves. I looked at the Crown Prince, my gaze earnest. Brother Crown Prince, I'm not only doing this for the soldiers of the borderlands. I have my own selfish motives too. They want to devour my dowry after I die, but I refuse to let them have their way. The Crown Prince was silent after hearing this. Just when I thought he was going to refuse, he suddenly bowed with his hands clasped, startling me so much I took a sharp step back. Jew, on behalf of the soldiers of the borderlands, I thank you, Miss Tang. Jew, that's his courtesy name. I waved my hand. Brother Crown Prince, just call me Mingyue. Finally, I took out another document. Brother Crown Prince. The Pei family borrowed several shops from my mother many years ago to help with their household's cash flow. This is the IOU, with the handprints of Marquis Pingchong and his wife. It'll trouble you to take this along too. The Crown Prince told me to wait for his summons. He hurried back to the palace without even greeting the Prince of Qi and his wife. When they found out I had donated my dowry to the court, they all gasped. Commandery Princess Yangon, especially, widened her eyes. Mingyue, your dowry, are you really willing to part with it? What's there to be unwilling about? I'm a dying person. If I keep these things, they'll just fall into someone else's hands. It's better to donate them. Princess Yangon thought it made sense and nodded repeatedly. Well done. That's how it should be. Piss off that bunch of parasites. Father, mother, you have no idea. When I went to the Tang family to pick up Mingyue, there wasn't a single servant in her courtyard. It's already autumn, but her blanket was still the thin one used in summer, and there wasn't even any hot water in the room. They clearly wanted her to live or die on her own. The Prince of Qi and his wife shared a common indignation for a while before Princess Yangon finally calmed down. I handed a booklet to Princess Yangon. Of course, I didn't donate it all. Here are a few jewelry shops. They're my gift to you. Thank you for your recent help. Princess Yangon hurriedly waved her hands. I helped you because we've always been close, not because I wanted anything from you. I smiled. Of course, it's just a pity that I won't be able to see the princess' wedding day. So these are my wedding gifts to you, as a sister, given in advance. Hearing this, Princess Yangon's eyes reddened as she accepted it, wanting to speak but hesitating. Mingyue, you. I knew what she wanted to say. Nothing more than offering a large reward to see if anyone in the martial world could cure my illness. She wanted to keep me alive, but only I knew that this life couldn't be saved, unless Pei Yuan could fall in love with me again. Even if he could, I wouldn't want it anymore. I find it disgusting. Before I was summoned by the emperor, the Pei family had already filed an imperial complaint at the Mid-Autumn Festival banquet. I was not feeling well, so Princess Yangon specially requested His Majesty's grace to allow me to enter the palace later. When I arrived before the hall on my palanquin, I heard Madame Pei crying and complaining. His Majesty the Emperor, I beg you to seek justice for me. That girl Mingyue is heartless. She used dirty tricks to ruin the business of my manor's shops, and now the mansion can barely afford to pay the servants' monthly wages. I laughed. This Madame Pei is over 40. How can she still act like a teenage girl? So incredibly stupid. No matter how desolate the Marquis Manor of Pingchong is, it still receives the stipend of a Marquis Manor. How extravagant must they be for a dignified Marquis Manor to be unable to pay its monthly wages? The guiding eunuch helped me into the grand hall. I scanned the room. The ladies from noble families looked at Madame Pei with sympathetic expressions. There were also some ladies with whom I usually have no interaction, chiming in to denounce me. Evidently, while I was absent just now, someone had said quite a few bad things about me. The emperor sat before his desk with his eyes downcast and silent, while the Marquis of Pingchong and his wife tearfully and snottily accused me, describing how my heart was as black as ink. They did not stop until the eunuch announced my name. Madame Pei stared at me viciously, as if she wanted to eat me alive. I sneered at her, and the look she gave me became even more vicious. The warmth she used to show me in the past was now completely gone. It's as if I were her father's murderer. Well, that's true. Ruining someone's livelihood is like killing their parents. Thinking about it this way, I can actually understand why she looks at me like that. If I didn't know my illness was a punishment from the system, I would have suspected that she hated me so much she poisoned me. Your subject, Mingyue, pays her respects to His Majesty the Emperor. I bowed, and the Emperor told me to rise and take a seat. After I sat down, the Emperor pointed at the Marquis and Madame Pingchong and asked me, Tang Mingyue, someone said you ruined the business of the Marquis of Pingcheng's shop. Do you admit it? I shook my head. May your Majesty see clearly. Your subject has never done such a thing. I don't know which brainless person would lie in front of your Majesty. This is the crime of deceiving the monarch. The Emperor raised an eyebrow. Oh, how could Madame Pei dare to bear the crime of deceiving the monarch? She was so angry she pointed at my nose and cursed. You're full of shit. You did it but don't dare to admit it. And you're trying to frame me for deceiving the monarch. To think I treated you like my own daughter in the past. Is this how you repay me? I retorted. I haven't even said who deceived the monarch yet. And you're already taking the shoe that fits. You, madam, you say I ruined your shop's business. All right then, let me ask you, do you have the deeds for those shops? Madame Pei sneered. Of course I. Before she could finish her sentence, her expression changed. Then she said angrily, the deeds for those shops are with you, but it was agreed back then that they were for us. Your mother promised it herself. I nodded. You also know those shops originally belonged to my family. So is there any problem with me managing my own family's shops? You. Madame Pei was so angry she started stuttering. Since your mother lent them to us, then they are ours. Unless your mother says in person that she wants to take the shops back. I clapped my hands and cheered. Your ladyship's skin is even thicker than the walls of the capital city. Borrowing something from someone and refusing to return it can make it your own. This humble girl has really learned something new today. My mother passed away many years ago. Madam, since you say so, why don't you go down there and ask my mother yourself if she is willing to give you the shops? Seeing that I was cursing her to die soon, Madame Pei was about to curse back in anger, but was interrupted by the Empress in a timely manner. Enough. In front of His Majesty the Emperor. What is this behavior? One of you is the daughter of an official. The other is a marchioness. How can you be as noisy as shrews in the marketplace? I immediately lowered my head and admitted my fault obediently. It is this humble servant's fault. Just now, when I heard the Marchioness of Pingchong describe government property as her own, I couldn't hold back and had to refute her. I have disturbed His Majesty the Emperor and the Empress, and I beg His Majesty the Emperor and the Empress to forgive me. His Majesty the Emperor coughed lightly, and the Empress, taking the hint. Oh, government property. You girl, what is this about? You girl. Hearing the Empress' affectionate term of address, the people around all began to whisper among themselves. I got up, came to the center of the hall, and performed a deep bow. In reply to the Empress, this humble servant is gravely ill, and I fear my days are numbered. It happened that the other day, Pei Yuan, the heir of the Marquis of Pingchong, came to call off our engagement, as he wishes to marry my stepsister. So this humble servant decided to fulfill their deep love for each other. Before my mother passed away, she left me quite a bit of dowry, but thinking about these worldly possessions, which you can't bring with you at birth or take with you in death, I decided to donate them to the soldiers at the borderlands, to do my small part. Of course, those shops the Marchioness of Pingchong mentioned earlier were all part of my mother's dowry. Back then, the Marquis Manor of Pingchong was short of money and borrowed a few shops from my mother, saying they would pay it all back with interest after 3 years. But it has been 6 years now, and I have yet to see the Marquis Manor of Pingchong come to repay it. This humble servant here even has the IOU signed and fingerprinted by the Marchioness of Pingchong. As soon as these words fell, the entire hall was in an uproar. All the ladies and madams I usually associate with know that I am lavish with my spending. In the capital city, any gathering I host is always as grand as it can possibly be within the rules. On top of that, I'm generous with the people around me, which has made countless people envious and just as many jealous. Even when Pei Yuan broke off our engagement, he called me immoderately extravagant. What are you talking about? Before the crowd could react, Father suddenly stepped forward and bowed. His Majesty the Emperor, please forgive her. My young daughter Mingyue must be delirious from illness, spouting such wild words. Lord Tang, the Crown Prince spoke up, interrupting. Do you have any idea what you're saying? What a joke. I've already offered to give away such a huge sum of money. Even if the Emperor isn't short on cash, who would complain about having too much money? Not to mention, I already had the Crown Prince tell the Emperor about this beforehand. Today is just a formality, just as the matter was about to be set in stone. If Father now says I was just joking, would the Emperor be willing to let it go? At that time, if I'm charged with the crime of deceiving the monarch, he won't be able to keep his head. Hearing this, Father was terrified, kowtowing with his head pressed deep against the great hall's floor. It is I, your humble minister, who was confused. I beg His Majesty the Emperor's forgiveness. The Emperor's expression was blank. After a long moment, he finally spoke. Have you thought this through? I knew these words were for me, so I replied. I have thought it through clearly. The weather is cold, and the ground is chilly. Girl, you, quickly take a seat. I gave my thanks and got up. Looking to the other side, Father's second wife and my stepsister looked at me in disbelief, their faces ashen. Madame Pei was even more speechless. She trembled all over, and her body went limp as she collapsed in the grand hall. Pei Yuan supported her. The look he gave me filled with immense resentment. I almost forgot. There are still scores to settle. I stopped in my tracks, turned around, and knelt down. His Majesty the Emperor, I wish to accuse my former fiancé Pei Yuan and my stepsister Tang Yunyun of having an illicit affair. My grave illness is all because of this. I beg His Majesty the Emperor to seek justice for me. Everyone stared at me, dumbfounded. They seemed not to have expected that I would actually bring such an unseemly matter out into the open. With the wedding date approaching, The Pei family broke off the engagement and married my stepsister instead. Everyone in the entire capital city knew about this, but because the two events of my engagement being broken and me falling gravely ill happened almost one after the other, everyone naturally assumed that the engagement was broken because of my illness. The Tang and Pei families also told the public the same thing. Furthermore, Princess Yangon had once summoned an imperial physician to treat me, and everyone said my illness was beyond cure. Even if the Pei family broke off the engagement, everyone would think it was reasonable. What's more, the Pei family, using the excuse that they couldn't bear to break the engagement, married Tang Yunyun, and also had me marry Pei Yuan as a concubine, gaining a reputation for being loyal and honorable. But what if I say now that my serious illness is because Pei Yuan broke off the engagement? The emperor's voice was deep. Lord Tang, is this matter true? Father stammered and couldn't get a word out. He naturally didn't dare to say that he was involved in this matter. Seeing this, the emperor understood. Although this matter of an official marrying off his daughter was not something he should interfere with, but he had just received a large sum of money from me. For the sake of the gold and silver, the emperor had to ask. He let out a cold snort and had someone wake up Marchioness Pei. She was only pretending to be unconscious, so when the emperor summoned her for questioning, how could she dare to keep up the act? After a palace maid pinched her philtrum, Marchioness Pei sucked in a breath of cold air from the pane and slowly came to. Marchioness Pingchong, you tell me, why did you break off the engagement with the Tang family? Marchioness Pei could only clench her teeth and insist that it was because of my serious illness that they switched the bride to Tang Yunyun. I was kneeling on the ground, and upon hearing this, I couldn't stop coughing. The red blood on the handkerchief was glaring, and His Majesty the Emperor quickly ordered someone to help me up. I sobbed and complained, His Majesty the Emperor, please see the truth. It was clearly Pei Yuan and your subject's stepsister who came together. Not only did they try to force me to become a concubine, but they also wanted to steal my dowry for my stepsister. I was so overcome with anger that I fell ill. Madame Pei wanted to argue further, but when she saw the emperor glance at her coldly, she was too scared to speak. That business about the shops, that girl you mentioned, do you admit to it? Madame Pei stammered, and in the end, she admitted, it is indeed true. Since this matter is true, then I'll give you 3 days to return the principal and interest in full. Crown Prince, you shall supervise this matter. The Crown Prince nodded. Your son accepts the decree. Marchioness of Pingchong, you can rest assured. I have several experts under my command who are skilled in accounting. The principal, the interest, it will all be calculated clearly, and I will certainly not make you pay a single coin more. Thank you, Your Highness the Crown Prince. The banquet dispersed. The Empress asked me to stay. When Princess Yangon pulled me to the Empress Palace, the Crown Prince was also there. Upon seeing me, he hurriedly stood up and offered me the soft seat. I found it strange, but my attention was quickly drawn to the Empress' words. Girl, the silver you donated to the court is enough to cover the expenses of the soldiers in the borderlands for 2 or 3 years. For such a great merit, what kind of reward do you want? I shook my head. Your Highness, this humble servant's days are numbered. I really don't want anything. Just now in the main hall, the Emperor asked me what reward I wanted, and I just said I didn't want any. The Empress thought I was too scared to ask for anything, and asked me again. Seeing that I still refused, she sighed. When I was still a concubine, your mother helped me once, and I have always remembered her kindness. It's a pity your mother passed away so early, and you've ended up like this. The Empress recalled the past, sighing repeatedly. Back then, your mother was also one of the top figures in Xinjing City, and even then I thought it was a pity she married the wrong man. Yeah, my mom. She was the most unique woman I have ever seen in this lifetime. She was decisive and free-spirited. She was the person I wanted to be in my past life, but her bravery and kindness ended up taking her life. Now I regret wanting to become a person like her. I think I'll just be a person who does as she pleases. Let's start by taking the lives of those 2 people. A couple of days ago, I received a letter from the Crown Prince. The letter said that my mom was murdered. I still remember when my mom suddenly fell seriously ill. She once told me to live my own life well and not to get entangled with others. I didn't understand back then, and thought my mom was telling me not to care about what outsiders said about me. So now, she must have long since realized Tang Yunyun's true parentage. That's right, Tang Yunyun is actually father's biological daughter. Back then, when Tang Yunyun and her mother said their family had met with disaster, it was just an excuse. Father had already had a shameless affair with his cousin long ago when he went back to his hometown to visit relatives. It's just that in recent years, father rarely went back to his hometown. That mother and daughter couldn't take it anymore, So they came to the capital city. They won my mother's pity and affection, and were provided with everything from food and clothing to all their expenses. Gradually, they developed a vicious ambition. Wanting to replace my mother, they started to poison my mother. It was a slow-acting poison from who knows where, so even when the doctor checked her pulse for a routine checkup, he couldn't detect anything. At the right moment, they triggered the illness. Everyone thought that my mother died from a sudden illness, but who would have known that it was something they had been plotting for a long time, and father had long been coveting my mother's dowry. How could he miss such an opportunity to pocket it? The emperor specially assigned 4 people to me to take inventory of the dowry. He even specially provided me with a soft sedan chair, so that I could sit in it when I went out. When I was taking over the Pei family's shops, Pei Yuan was right at the entrance. Seeing me arrive, he glared at me furiously. Tang Mingyue, you have such a vicious heart. My mother treated you well in the past, yet you humiliated her to her face. Now she's so angry she's stuck in bed and can't get up. I was a bit impatient. What does that have to do with me? He was at a loss for words, his anger flaring even more. In any case, she is your mother-in-law. Mother-in-law, I laughed. Pei Yuan, don't forget, we've already broken off our engagement. You, your mother, your entire Pingchong Marquis Manor have nothing to do with me. In the past, for the sake of you being my fiancé, I spent my own money to support your entire family, and I accepted it. Now, what the hell do you think you are, daring to yell in my face? There were many onlookers, and upon hearing this, they began to point and whisper about Pei Yuan. Who would have thought? Such a big family like the Pingchong Marquis Manor was actually living off a young girl's dowry. You can say that again. I heard they want to both break the engagement and keep the betrothal gifts. How shameless. Who could stand something like this? I couldn't. Anyway, anyone who could isn't a decent person. Pei Yuan's face turned deathly pale. He wanted to explain but couldn't find the words. Seeing that it was about time, I waved to the people behind me. Go. The Imperial guards were tall and imposing, and they were armed with swords. No matter how much Pei Yuan wanted to stop them, he didn't dare to offend the emperor's men. After collecting the Pei family's things, I arrived at the Tang mansion. Father was sitting in the main hall, his expression ice cold. When I was carried in, his gaze swept over the people around me, and the hand holding the teacup was slowly put down. After a long while, he finally spoke. As you wished, this family has been torn apart by you. I laughed. What are you talking about, Father? This isn't my home, so why would I tear it apart? You. Father was furious. Your surname is Tang. You are my daughter. That's right. It's precisely because I am your daughter that I supported you, letting you live so glamorously in the capital city. If it were someone else, do you think they would be willing to spend money to support you? Being a proud freeloader is something only you, Father, and Pei Yuan could manage. Looking at it this way, you two seem more like a real father and son. Also, this family ceased to exist the moment you all killed my mother. Father seemed not to have expected that I knew the truth about my mother's death. His expression showed a momentary panic, but it vanished just as quickly. Humph, nonsense. Your mother died of illness. What does that have to do with me? Is that so? What if I go and ask the emperor to investigate it thoroughly? He slammed the table. I am your father. I looked at him coldly, watching his face turn ashen bit by bit. Before I instructed the people beside me, be thorough. Move all the valuable things in this mansion out. Don't leave a single coin behind. Before leaving, I said to the wailing mother and daughter, cherish the days you're alive. The two of them stared at me blankly, their faces showing confusion. I let out a light laugh. After all, if you fall asleep one night, who can say for sure if you'll see tomorrow's sun? The stepmother suddenly shrieked as if she'd gone mad. You're just like your mother. You all deserve to die. Even Father reached out, grabbed the teacup on the table, and threw it at me. Looking at his ferocious face, I suddenly felt a sense of relief. He sought wealth his whole life, so he'll take that wealth away. Living the rest of his life in poverty is the best punishment. Everything the entire Tang family lives on, including the maids and old servant women, is mine. When I arrived, the Tang family was immensely glorious. When I left, the Tang family was in utter ruin. Within a few days, the stepmother went insane, lost her footing, fell into the water, and drowned. As for Tang Yunyun, she was sent to a temple in the suburbs to have her head shaved and become a nun. Father fell into a depression, was disdained by the emperor, and was demoted to a remote place to serve as a county magistrate. As for Pei Yuan, due to his moral failings, he was stripped of his right to inherit the noble title. Marquis Pingchong had only that one son. If he couldn't inherit the title, then the title would end here. If his descendants want to enter the imperial court again, they can only do so like the common people, by passing the imperial examinations. Are you satisfied with this outcome? In Prince Chi's mansion, Princess Yangon cheerfully told me about what was happening outside. I was infected by her smile and couldn't help but laugh too. These kinds of simple and wonderful days are so nice. 2 months later, my body got better and better. I could even get out of bed and walk. Princess Yangon held my hand and cried, sob sob sob, Mingyue, you're not having a final burst of energy before death, are you? I was a little speechless. A final burst of energy, maybe for others, but for me, it's absolutely impossible. But if it's not a final burst of energy, then what is it? I was also confused. The system said I only have 2 months to live, so it should be only 2 months, but it's been almost 3 months now, and I'm still not dead, which is a bit strange. Just as I was about to call out the system to ask, a servant announced that the Crown Prince had arrived. Brother Crown Prince, are you here to see Mingyue? Sob sob sob. She's having a final burst of energy. I saw the Crown Prince run over in a panic. When he saw my rosy complexion, his eyes couldn't help but get moist. Yuer, when did we become this close? Before I could react, I was suddenly pulled into a warm embrace. I wanted to struggle free, but he held me even tighter. I heard Princess Yangon hissing as she sucked in a breath beside me. The Crown Prince's voice came from above my head. Yuer, I wonder if you still remember, when you were 3, you came to the palace to play and gave a boy a few pastries to eat. At that time, my mother consort was not favored and was often bullied in secret. My older brothers also secretly withheld my food, so I often didn't have enough to eat. The palace staff always step on the lowly and curry favor with the powerful. On the day I met you, my mother consort was sick and really wanted to eat osmanthus cakes, so much that she was about to cry. I also hadn't had a full meal in 2 days. Thanks to your osmanthus cakes, I didn't rashly go looking for Father Emperor. That day, there was a defeat at the borderlands, and Father Emperor was in a rage. If I had gone, I'm afraid things would have gotten even worse. He spoke intermittently, his voice muffled, as if he was crying. Yuer, it's all thanks to you. I was completely confused. I can't remember things from when I was 3 anymore. I did such a good deed, but it was just a few osmanthus cakes. Why would it make the Crown Prince remember for so long? The Crown Prince was still rambling on, talking about many things I didn't know. He talked about how hard he worked to win the Emperor's favor, and how he missed the chance to propose marriage to me, watching me chase after Pei Yuan, how his jealousy boiled over. From his perspective, it seems I had always been his focus, but I clearly remember only seeing the Crown Prince from a distance a few times. Just as I was desperately trying to remember, the Crown Prince suddenly let go of me. His eyes, shimmering with a watery light, were incredibly clear. Yuer, be my Crown Princess. Huh. Just as I thought I was hearing things, a familiar electronic voice suddenly sounded. Beep. Detected that the capture target's affection level is overflowing. Capture progress at 100%. Congratulations, host. Capture successful. Wishing you a happy life.